Anyway, who would you prefer to introduce here, my friend?
I love my Protoss boy.
Protoss?
So
All
if
right.
I could.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. In the bottom left side is a little Frenchman. He's from Team Liquid. He's in the red. He's the Terran. We all know him. He is CLEM, the champion.
And in the top right, the German phenomenon, Demauer. It's the Blue Protoss Showtime. I get chills every time I watch him.
He's really good.
He blows me away with his skill.
I always find that, I don't know why, but I think CLEM may just be, you know, it may not be the best matchup for him in a way. And I don't mean that CLEM is really good overall, but in particular, I feel like CLEM is really good against like the late game Protoss, just dodging and weaving around all the disruptor shots, you know?
He really is. I mean, I have won and lost games by the disruptor shot as a Protoss player myself, but typically it's not the Terran that makes them miss or hit, it's me. But CLEM's ability to just dodge them in a variety of ways is sensational.
It's nuts, isn't it? It's truly something because he does it so consistently. Like there's no question about it. He's dodging them. And then also, like, just how he knows about, like, alright, well, I can actually jump on top of this disruptor, gun it down before it actually goes off, or, like, I should probably just move away here. And it's so consistent that it's so impressive.
Yeah, and, I mean, just to be able to have that kind of map vision and pay attention to your army that well is... Because, like, they gotta go and look at other things. They've got drops, they gotta expand, and so you can't always be watching your army like, is the disruptor shot coming? And also to manage just your heart, because who doesn't have like a heart attack when they see a disruptor shot coming and the Terran goes to try and kill the disruptor first instead of dodging?
Yeah, I completely agree there. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, it's gonna... Oh, that was so close.
What?
He knew it exactly, dude.
CLEM. No, you just killed an adept with the Reaper and Marines? That's not the way it's supposed to work, my man.
So many Terran would just be like, alright, well, he got in the shrubbery or the gas or the smoke or whatever. Right, it's fine, he got away, it's fine. He's just like, you know what, I should have just barely enough and his HP should be just low enough where I can actually just jump in here and take the trade.
Dang, that's sick. I wish that, I'm glad that Terrans don't do that to my adepts. My adepts are usually...
Yeah.
Okay,
very true.
So the adept's gonna come in here and shield battery gonna make things nice and easy there, but is this a Hellion drop that we're seeing out of CLEM?
Let's see, how many Hellions do we have? Yeah, well, what he could do is actually fly in the main with the Marines and then drive through the fronts with the... I think that might happen.
Yeah, so he's going to have 8 Marines here. Yeah, no, perfect. Wow, yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so 3 Hellions are going to go into the front.
I made that exact mistake calling, like, oh, it's a Hellion drop, like, I think 1.5 weeks ago, and now I've learned.
Yeah, you've learned. Well, Terrans have been getting so creative lately. They're not just sticking with the, I'm only going to drop Whittle Mines, or I'm only going to try and do a Hellion run by. They're like, well, I could do both. And mix in an 8 Marine drop.
Just make it more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, the wall is going to try his best, of course, to hold this off. He has a probe that. Oh, the full wall off. Beautiful.
Oh, the wall living up to his name, and Stalkers are in the main, ready, in position.
Beautiful.
This is going to... Nothing.
Oh, he killed the Stalker.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Ahead.
No,
what were you going to say?
I was just going to think of something to say and then say it.
Okay. Well, I was noticing that Showtime hadn't gone for a third quite yet. His third's rather delayed for normal PVT timing. This is really nice to see because I'm always like, as soon as I see the 4-minute mark happen, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta start figuring out how to get a third base. But Showtime's like, I'll just get it past the 5-minute. He was going for some speedy Colossus.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's okay, right? Because he's just playing it safe. He didn't take any damage, which is also... Well, I guess he lost 3 probes there. A little bit of damage, but really minimal. Right? And then the attack of Clem is still pretty darn committed overall. I mean, it's a medevac filled with Marines and some Hellions. Now, he hasn't lost them just quite yet, but that's still quite a bit of overall... overall money spent into trying to get damage done, which didn't really happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we do see the Raven coming in. Maybe he'll try and drop an auto turret, but Showtime's just been covering all his bases, keeping things going. Okay. Oh, nope, no auto turret. Psych! That's the wrong number.
Shield battery. Does the shield battery on its own just protect against auto turrets? Or?
I don't know. I haven't ever seen that scenario.
It's a lot of damage, like but
it's got a really high DPS. It would probably like lower it just a little bit, but I mean, keeping the energy on the Raven is never a bad idea. Ooh, almost a perfect force field, but only a couple probes. Only a couple probes.
I don't need to. Still very doable.
Okay, Clem's actually... Oh, he's getting his 3rd base on location. Okay.
Interesting. This is quite a committed attack, isn't it?
Yeah. How many tanks we got? 3 tanks. Okay. And the Raven has, like, full energy.
Oh, this is so good.
Look at Clem. Oh, he's going to force field the ramp.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
During all of this, Clem is also dropping with those Marines in the main base. Looks like there is enough here to hold it off, though. But maybe that's going to force like a shield battery overcharge. Yes, it does. So that means there's no shield battery overcharge here for the main attack. And we still have that Raven full energy as well. So maybe that's the reason why he didn't commit to any real aggression there. Disables 2 of them.
This 3rd base is going to go down. No, actually, he's going to back off. 10 probes going down, but those tanks in juicy position here. The drop into the natural, going to take out the Stalkers, forcing another couple warpins there. That's a lot of Marauders, Kozan. Those Colossus are going to have a really hard time dealing with that, especially without battery overcharge.
Oh, and he killed 11 probes. I'm not even sure where that all happened or where it took place, but 11 of them. That's pretty good. Now, is Showtime still on a reasonable amount of workers as well? So if he manages to just kind of destroy whatever's coming in next, he should still be okay. And this is a good start.
Ooh, nice. Picked up one of the medevacs, and now we're back over here. Charge lots coming on in. The Marauders going back into the protection of the tanks. Able to take out one of the tanks. That's nice. Is going to back up for now, and now shield battery overcharge is back online. This is going to be really hard for Clem to push into. Another 5 probes going down somewhere. I think just here at the 3rd. Yeah. But it looks like Showtime holds for now, and Clem's just going to back up and establish his own 3rd.
Yeah, he did manage to squeeze ahead with the worker counts here. With that 3rd base established as well, and no 4th base on the way here for Showtime just quite yet. I think he got himself in a pretty good spot. Both of them starting to upgrade their technology tree right now as well. The Ghost Academy and the Templar Archives on the way. We're going into a late game situation where I think both of these players should be able to get most of the assets which you would require in the late game TVP.
Now, finally, we're seeing Showtime start those upgrades. He's had the double forge for a while, but just with that defense he had to do, he didn't have the money to start it up. But now here we go, chronoing out double upgrades. One is about to be fully done for Clem, but Showtime won't be too far behind. He should be able to stay decently close. 4th base going to get started, but immediately scouted here for Clem. Not much he can do to punish it right now, but Showtime kind of spreading himself a long way all across the top of the map. I fear, like, as Clem's going bio here, that's going to allow for a lot of multi-pronged aggression, Kozan.
It should be, yeah. I mean, that is also another thing where Clem just shines at, right? The multi-pronged aggression. Yeah. Let's see if he will be able to, well, escape the clutches of the War Prism, though. It is in his main base right now. The reinforcements a bit off from those barracks. It's about to come in, though. There's no extra zealots being warped in either. So it looks like Showtime just kind of being careful, not over sending in too many units right there. Just gets whatever SCV he can and just kind of skedaddles on out of that with most of his zealots still intact. So very nice, very conservative.
Nice little drop there. The Vikings still trying to chase down that War Prism. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it as long as Showtime doesn't forget about it. And 4th base on the way for Clem. Disruptors, though, coming in. Now we're going to get to see the the splits that we were talking about, Kozan.
Oh, hell yeah. Should be coming up momentarily if we are in luck. There's still a lot of siege tanks. They aren't the best friends of the disruptor here.
No, sir.
Now, we also have the Raven, of course, so he can disable them as well in a pinch.
What do you think you should disable, the Colossus or the Disruptors?
Probably the Colossus, but like either would be fine. If he isn't able to avoid the Disruptors, that would be good then as well, right? Oh, just goes for the anti-armor. That's good as well. There's the disable. Oh no, CLEM, please! Don't prove us wrong now.
Decent disruptor hit. Nice dodges there. His units being split up both by CLEM and the force fields. No battery overcharge used quite yet. The two Colossus still remain. Now it's just one, but the Vikings getting picked off. The forces of Showtime are getting thinned out here. He doesn't really have a lot of buffer here for his robo units. It's just a few stalkers. Disruptor shots coming in. Nice pickups and dodging most of the shots. GG, CLEM ain't going down easy. Showtime is gonna drop in #1. CLEM showing finesse and prowess in that first game.
Yeah, seems like the, you know what, Showtime, I'm not entirely sure if it was all because of the harassment, because not that many workers went down overall, but it still felt like he was just missing something, right? And if you look at the army value tab, actually you can clearly see, let me quickly jump over there in the main screen as well. You can clearly see Showtime was just behind on the overall army tab there for the entire game, really. Very impressive stuff there for CLEM. Just very solid micro and macro.
Yeah.
Macro in particular.
It always felt like CLEM, he had enough to kind of hold on, but not truly hold.
Yep.
Like he was able to survive, but not deny the harassment and the aggression. And I feel like as the game moved on, the lateness of the third, although it seemed fine, I felt like Showtime didn't have the units to compensate for the lateness of the third, and so he wasn't able to just match the eventual macro of CLEM for some reason that first game. I don't know.
You think he was just expecting the attack of CLEM to come in earlier? Or maybe there was just some misjudgment there?
It did feel like he was expecting a bigger attack earlier, because typically there's no reason to get a third that late unless Terran's going for a big attack with a couple tanks, maybe even some stimulus marines. But
yeah,
I also think Showtime's a bit more of an expert on these things than I am. So I'm gonna trust him. But the Raven usage also is really smart. Not going for the auto turrets and just saving the energy really helped out in those fights.
Yeah, that was some cool stuff overall. Still sending the Raven across though, so maybe there was some doubt in his mind overall as to what the best course of action was here, but definitely made the right calls. Even if he didn't really trade out against the Colossi, he managed to get a good amount of probes, moved backwards, macroed up a bit more, and then overall just out-macroed his opponents. Cracks in the wall.
Uh-oh. Hopefully it doesn't fall.
Alright, well, the Frenchies are 1 point on the board right now. 1 goal has been made. The red Terran in the top right side here. Will he be on edge to score again? He is. Team Liquid's CLEM.
And in the bottom left, playing in the blue trunks, the Protoss player, Mr. D. Mauer, it's showtime. Is he on a team right now? What's his team?
Team Big.
Remember. Team Big?
Yeah.
So he's playing for
I think
Team
he's
Big,
the only
everyone.
member on Team Big as well. If I might be wrong on that, but I think it's a German company, so it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up. Let's go. I'm gonna go to Wikipedia as we watch this probe try and dance with the SCV Devils.
SCV Devils.
Oh, fun fact. There was once upon a time a Korean Protoss player who also used the name Showtime.
Yeah.
But he didn't capitalize the W. So that's the difference. Less cool.
Yeah, a lot less cool.
Okay, yeah. Team Big. You're right. And The link doesn't work. Oh no, there we go. Okay, player roster. Is Showtime. Yep.
It's just Showtime, right? Yeah.
That's Showtime.
I think it's the same for what team is Cyril on again?
Ents.
Ents, yeah. Also, just Cyril. It's just like, alright, we'll just get one StarCraft 2 player. We'll get the best that's available, and then, alright, there we go. Same with Red Bull and Rainer, right? That is just like, all these companies, they're like, alright, let's at least have one player in StarCraft, and then we'll get the best, and we should be well and proper being represented. Yeah. I think that's this maybe a little bit of an idea, because in a lot of other esports overall, right? I'm wondering what you think about this, but in a lot of other esports, as a sponsor, you would just kind of sponsor one team, right? You would just get one team on your roster, and then you would have all those players. You think that maybe maybe one of the reasons why they're so used to just kind of being like, all right, well, let's just get one player, and then we should be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that actually makes a lot of sense, because in StarCraft, since it's a 1v1 sport, so you don't have that kind of team aspect. It seems like, oh, why would you only pick up one player? Well, like you said in other esports, they only sponsor one team. Yeah, there's multiple players, but it's the same as in StarCraft sponsoring one player. So I'd agree. I think that's probably why. It's just easier that way.
So is Team Big actually from like the Big Pence, or is that the Big Pence? Is that a different Big? That's one thing I don't know. Probably not. I think they're like PC parts or something company. Maybe?
So they're the Berlin International Gaming. So that's what Big stands for. And it's a German esports organization formed by the former NRG players Gob B and Legia... L-E-G-I-J-A.
L-E-G, oh, I know that one.
That's L-E-G-I-G-A is the spelling of the name that I couldn't pronounce. And then Tabsen. So they're active in Counter-Strike and League of Legends, which Showtime's like their token.
Token StarCraft nerd. Yeah.
Tokens.
I like it. It's still good, right?
Yeah.
It's still good. Getting all these best players in.
We're going to be seeing Phoenix Colossus out of Showtime.
Oh.
This is one of my favorite styles in PvT. I've been really working on learning it.
I mean, it's one thing to have a wall on the ground, but what if you could make a wall in the sky as well? It moves very quickly and manages to do a lot of harassment.
Nice pickoff. Gets a probe. And, I mean, Clem scouted everything he needs to, I think.
I guess he didn't see the Robo Bay on the way, but that is, that's the logical conclusion, right? That's the straight up play after this, pretty much every single time.
Yeah. Well, and he's getting a couple Cyclones too, which is always a good choice with dealing with Phoenixes. He went up to 2. I don't hate it. And already 2 Vikings out. Okay. Is Showtime going to be able to pick off one of the Vikings? No. Oh.
No blood.
So close, but he will get a Marine at least. But now it looks like Clem wants to move out, and this is the big risk of going Phoenix Colossus. Is there's this short window where before you can get Colossus out, where you can be vulnerable. But it looks like Showtime's getting an Immortal. He's warping in units, and he should be able to protect his third. There are no shield batteries though, so that could make things a little dicey.
Yeah, that third base could still be under a lot of pressure. You just scan whether. Checking if he actually got spotted here. Wonder what he's gonna be doing. You think he may just be trying to force out Immortals instead of Colossi, or just make Showtime uncomfortable? I don't know. He's sending in more stuff, but it's just more for Marines. Okay, there's a siege tank on the way.
Okay,
that should help.
What upgrades? So there's no stim or anything. Stim's just starting.
Yeah.
So it is just stimless Marines. I mean, in a perfect world, you're able to snipe the third base, but you're making the Protoss make units he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be doing a lot of warpins right now. He doesn't want to be making Immortals. He wants to just go straight up to Colossus. Easy. And here we go. The Marines are going to come in. One of the Cyclones immediately getting sniped here. Nice target. Nice move back on the Immortal. A lot of the Marines are going down. One of the Immortals gets sniped. The Vikings hit the deck. And the tank now shelling a lot away. The Adept's not able to really do much here. And now this third base is under attack.
Under a bit of pressure. The Phoenixes just weren't there at all. I think he was anticipating somewhat of a secondary attack perhaps into the main base. So losing a couple more ground forces than he needed to perhaps necessarily, but still holds us off there fairly comfortably.
Yeah, and if you look at the supply this time, at this point in last game, the supplies were like this, but in Clem's favor. Now Clem's down almost 20 supply. He's down 6 workers, and Showtime's now going to be able to go into Colossus, get his upgrades, and start getting into that army that you love to go into when you go in Phoenix Colossus, which just is full of Colossus and full of disruptors.
So good getting this siege tank here as well. You really need those siege tanks to target down the Colossi, especially if you don't have that many Vikings, which, you know what, Clem also doesn't have, so...
No, he lost them all in that fight on the 3rd. He wanted to get way more damage done, and the Phoenix not being there actually kind of, I think, baited Clem into attacking, because if the Phoenix are there, I mean, you can pick up whatever you want. You can snipe all the Marines really fast without many Phoenixes. You can pick up the tank and the Cyclones, whatever you want, and so it's a little dangerous. But with the Phoenix gone, that really encouraged Clem to be like, yeah, I can do this. But then Showtime held, and he didn't even have a shield battery.
Let me just try to push in here. Let's just go.
Go for it.
Yeah.
But now, Stim is done. Combat shield is completing as well. So, see, Clem's getting to that point. Like, Clem's definitely not out of it, and he's now ahead in supply. Just his macro is so good. Terran macro is a beautiful thing to see. He's going to get his 4th CC. Showtime getting his 4th base. And Templar Archives and all the things goes in. All the things.
Yeah, I mean, the army supply definitely went into favor for Showtime then. That's not something we're used to be seeing at that moment in the game, in a TVP in particular. But Clem always was on a really good work account. He's always been on a very solid amount. Wasn't falling behind, actually getting a bit ahead. Bit of a panic stim there, perhaps, but overall, actually stimming absolutely everything. More Marines here also stimming in. Interesting, but
Stim no win,
yeah,
baby.
I mean it's still looking pretty good for Clem here, I would say. Even though that attack kind of fell flat, he just managed to pull him through. I don't know what it is. It sounds like one of those boring things, right? It's just he's really good at making SCVs. That is just really what he's doing, and he's doing it very well. And because of this, he's just pretty much tied up in the workers, if not in front of it, above Showtime, for most of this game.
This is where things are going to get scary, though. That is 3 Colossus, and there are no Ravens to interference matrix them. They're charged about just charging their way forward. The Marines and Marauders having to kite back. There is only 1 tank here. Marauders getting picked up. A huge warp, and from the warp prism is going to bring in a lot of charge shots into the fray. Showtime with a very scary, powerful army. Clem continues to get pushed back, but is going to be able to drive everything back for now as he goes into protection of the bunker at the 3rd.
Yeah, he lost most of his Vikings again, right? And, well, that's 3 siege tanks. Okay, no, he's still poking ahead with those 4. Alright, yeah, looks like Showtime's gonna have to back up again. He's gonna go into Disruptors. That's the next tech tree here for him. And do you know if Showtime actually likes to go into, like, a big Stargate mix-up here?
Ooh,
I think that is... anything he really does often?
I think with how many Vikings he's seen Clem make, he's going to be a little wary before doing it. I think he wants to see what he can get done with Disruptors, but I wouldn't rule it out. The late game Protoss Sky Toss army is beautiful, and the ultimate, what I've been told is the ultimate Protoss late game army in PvT is Carrier Disruptor.
Yeah. I mean, it would kind of make sense, perhaps, as well, right? To first get yourself on a 200 supply worth of ground forces, so just to ensure that you don't die. And then with that force, if you do want to make the transition, you can utilize that force as a defensive front, set up all the infrastructure you need, and then slowly lose some supply here and there, very carefully, so you can start a transition. We're not seeing any type of upgrades here, or anything whatsoever, so... kind of wondering if that is something he just doesn't often do.
Yeah, that I don't know. It's something that you can do, but is definitely not needed. It often depends a lot too on what Terran goes for. So far, we haven't seen anything truly neat, anything out of Terran truly that's like, man, I gotta go Sky Toss or I'm dead. Now these Vikings getting very ballsy and moving forward, and they're all gonna go down, but they bring the Colossus down with them, and that's gonna weaken Showtime's army quite a bit. He still has those disruptors, but it looks like he wants to back off for now and not engage without at least a few more disruptors and setting up a counterattack. This is something we haven't seen much. Showtime not harassing Clem very much.
Yeah, that first game didn't feel like he had much of an opportunity to, but this time around definitely going to be the case. Will be pushing in here momentarily, I would say. Maybe he's waiting to see where Clem's army is. I mean, that would make sense.
This is a big attack. Showtime's going to try and get as much damage as he can done around here, and then he's going to have to recall, because that is a huge Terran army on the other side of the map that's attacking the 4th base. Coming
in on 2 sides now is Showtime. Clem doesn't know about that other base that is just to the left of him right now, so the base that is going to be able to continue mining onwards. Yeah, the Disruptor's doing a really good job at just kind of zoning away the Terran army here. The Planetary, how is this Planetary still alive? Excuse me, sir.
Oh my word, the Hog of Life from the SV. Now you know what probes can't do? Repair a Nexus, and that Nexus is going down. Looks like Showtime actually ran all the way back home. He did not recall, but now Clem's in the main by the production. Oh no, Kozan! How does Showtime get out of this?
He needs some good disruptor shots is what I think needs to happen here. Sending a lot of them forward. That's a good start. There we go. Alright, does get Clem out of that position, but now Clem on the retreat finds this other Nexus. There's the recall. Showtime utilizing it here. Maybe he's locked in Clem, actually, perhaps. Oh, careful. Those disruptors building their lonesome. Alright, I love what Showtime is doing here. It's very, very good, actually. Look at this. You should be able to kill this army, right? Like, there's no way it's getting out. That is so impressive.
That is super well done. Yeah, he lost a bunch of workers, but he killed the same amount on the other side of the map while he was attacking. He only lost 1 Nexus, and there's only a couple Marines left in these drops. He held very well. He was patient with using his recall, didn't even use it initially. He did a really cheeky little recall there as he split up his army. I love that move. And now he's got more, he's at least on even bases, if not more than Clem right now. Now they're even. Technically the natural doesn't exist, but neither player has any mining at the natural anyway. And now he's just going to try and harass him. And Showtime's ahead in supply.
Oh, big fight here in the middle. Zealots really quick on top of the bio units here with the speed zone. So are those Archons, actually. Looking kind of funky getting on top of those bio like that. Hard to micro backwards. It looks like Showtime may actually have done it. Looking at the army supplies, getting on top of the production. GG is called. Showtime ties up this show, and he will be able to claim the victory in the second match.
Heck yeah, that was just beautifully done. The siege tanks weren't even siege, and using the speed zone like that. Oh, that was so cool. The speed zones, previous to Gigantha, I haven't really seen speed zones used at all effectively, but on this map, I've really started to see players figure out how to use these speed zones to punish their opponent and get an advantage in an attack like we saw there.
All right.
Also, how do you think that map's supposed to be said? Or how do you wish it was said?
Jachanata. I just like to say it on the Dutch way.
Oh, that's the Dutch way?
That's the Dutch way, yeah.
Is this the Arabic way of saying it?
No, it's Jachanata. Jachanata.
Well, the Dutch say it the best way, I think. Just do a little snort beforehand.
Yeah, nata. Oh man, they really did put us up for a difficult thing here. You know what I think? Some map makers just enjoy the fact that people are gonna struggle with their name, and then it's just like, all right, well, let's go with this.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, with how many maps have been made by now, you got what else are they gonna do? It's every classical name's been used, and I'm like, okay, Google random word generator.
Yeah.
What can you give me that no one will know how to say? Ah, perfect.
All right.
All right. Here we go, guys. We're in game number 3. We're tied up at 1, and we're on the beautifully easy to say map, Oxide. And in the top right of this map, winning game number 2, it's the Protoss man in the blue trunks from Germany, representing big. It is showtime.
And the bottom left side, his opponent right here. Their countries have been at odds with one another a couple of times, and this is just the next extension of that. It's the red Frenchman. He's the Terran. He is Team Liquid's CLEM.
Countries have been at odds with each other a couple of times.
Hey, they've had their run-ins with one another.
They've had their differences.
They've hit their rough patches in their
in their good spot now, though.
Political debates. Yeah. Right.
Oh,
immediately seeing the engine.
Terrence, if you... I hate this so much because it's so good. Terrence, if you want to annoy a Protoss, if you hate Protoss players and you want to get back at them for all the times they charge it all into you, do this, please. It sucks.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel very good as a player that plays Zerg and Terran when I always get my hatchery blocked, and then I get to play TVP, and I'm like, alright, here we go. This is my turn now.
Oh, it's so good. And oh, actually, we're seeing a factory before command center out of CLEM, so it looks like we're doing a little bit of the Beyond build here, where you do the eBay block, and then you go for a Hellion follow-up. Unfortunately for Showtime, unfortunately for CLEM, Showtime did not go for just dropping his natural at the third base, which makes this build a little bit easier. But we're still going to get a good bit of pressure. I'm curious to see how Showtime decides to try and defend it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see if he goes for the Twilight or the Stargate, I suppose.
Looks like Stargate. Yeah, okay, because... Oh, it's right at the front, too. Cool.
Interesting. Trying to already make a wall, perhaps, in order to block out some Hellions. I mean, he knows that there was a factory, but instead of Hellions, we got a tech lab on top of this factory here.
Okay. What's the play? What? CLEM?
You're gonna get scared.
Oh my gosh! Showtime is so used to the T-post going up. He didn't even have the shape going through them.
It's like, nah, the CLEM would never make a mistake like that. You wouldn't. Come on. It's CLEM.
Now, what if...
Interesting.
What if this is the big brain play that CLEM wanted Showtime to scout him?
He wanted Showtime to scout him?
Yeah, like, CLEM's like, oh yeah, Showtime, look, your Adept got in, look what you see. And it's like, oh, it's the factory with the tech lab, look what I'm doing. But it's just gonna be a Cyclone. I think he's expecting Phoenixes, but it's just gonna be an Oracle, and then we're switching into Robo? I don't know what Showtime... Okay, no, there's the Phoenix. Okay, so it's just Phoenix Colossus with an Oracle opener.
Yeah, CLEM did not get any scouting done, did he?
No.
So, I mean, the Cyclones overall could be pretty good against the, against the Oracle, as you said. So, yeah, I suppose that makes kind of sense, right? It could also be that he's just going with his contingency plan here because he got scouted. So he's like, all right, well, if he starts prepping for Hellions, then maybe the Cyclone is actually going to catch him off guard. Maybe that's still going to be able to do something here. But, well, let's see what happens. I mean, the Stargate unit's not really doing much. And, oh, dear lord, the probes are being pulled. More Marines being dropped onto the ground. Already cleaning up that Oracle there as well. shield battery finally finishing up. But with a Cyclone looking onto it, I'm not sure if that is going to stay up for a long time.
Is the shield battery going to heal the shield battery?
Oh, it didn't quite happen.
Wow. I thought Showtime was actually just straight up dead there. I was like, wow, okay, well, this is too much. Clem's won.
Yeah.
GG, guys. But
It felt that way,
Showtime,
didn't it?
Showtime only lost, what, 4 workers? Yeah, 4 workers. Huh. Okay, well, I mean, Clem's now getting his +1 attack, stim, Colossus Den on the way for Showtime. No third, though, and the longer this goes, like, the longer Clem can keep Showtime off of 3 bases, the better I think this is for Clem.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that's a really good point you're making. And Clem is just going to continue onwards with his aggression too. Look onto that Immortal. It's not going to get away. That costs you a lot of shield battery overcharge if you need to keep that up.
Okay, this is where Clem wins, guys. Right? Right?
Is it?
Right?
I don't know. It's still a shield battery. His Cyclone goes down, so does the Medevac.
It's micro, though. Out of Showtime is amazing. His Stalker's kiting beautifully. They're able to snipe one of the Cyclones, the other one dangerously low, but now the Cyclone's just going and picking off probes like he's picking his nose.
Instantaneously, when those Marines turn around, we see the Stalkers also turning around. Very cool micro here from Showtime. And yeah, manages to hold on. I mean, he did lose 10 workers though. Did take quite a bit of significant damage. Again, third base very late. And that third base for Clem here in the natural right now is being produced. Yeah.
So Showtime actually, instead of going for a third base, is just dropping 4 gateways. He's all in at this point, guys. He knows Clem is superbly far ahead in macro. He's trying to move out, start to get the move out, but yeah, that's too much terror. GG, Clem takes game number 2.
Can't believe he was just like, all right, let's move out again here. We got, what do we have? We have another siege tank. We got some Marines. All right, time to go. Time to push. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Okay, so that was really cool because when you see the eBay block, normally what you expect is for like some really fast harassment out of Terran, because it's like, oh, Protoss, their base isn't going to be on time. They're going to be just trying to catch up on the macro, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But Clem didn't go for that. He just went for like these really odd but really powerful attacks, and that punished the Phoenix Colossus so hard because you don't have a lot of units early on when you play Phoenix Colossus. And so Clem just outmassed him.
Yeah, and that without realizing that his opponent is going for Stargates here. Maybe that was a bit of a gamble. I mean, was there a way for him to realize that he was up against Stargates?
I mean, the only thing that I could imagine is that he knows what Showtime likes to do in that kind of situation and what he's going to go for. But otherwise, no, that was kind of a bit of a gamble. If Showtime was just going for 3-gate blink, I think Clem would have been in a world of hurt.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
But he didn't.
Maybe he did just know, right? I mean, it is Showtime. Yeah. He likes to be the player that is very precise, very meticulous. He knows what's good, and that's what he's going to execute. He's very good with the execution, and that's what brings him into the top ranking where he finds himself, right? But maybe that's a weakness as well. Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Okay. Let's do this, boys and girls. Here, in the bottom right of Death Aura. Putting a pylon on the low ground to start us off. It's the German phenomenon himself, Showtime. Playing for big.
And his opponent again here, the Frenchman in the red, the Terran. He's the tiny man himself. He is Clem. Le Clement.
You want to know what Clem's grandma tells him?
Oh dear.
Oh, you're too skinny. You need to eat the food. You're too skinny.
Why is his grandmother like Spanish or something?
I was going for Ukrainian because my dad's side of the family is all Ukrainian, and that's literally, I have an aunt that literally does that. She's done that. It's like, oh, to eat their food.
Oh yeah.
She's Auntie Anne. A great aunt name, I must say.
You got to eat the lasagna.
The lasagna. That's what Rainer's grandma tells him.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, that is the Spanish, isn't it? Or Italian as well. But it's going on, my little Clement. You need to eat more. You know, you got to grow the muscles so you can be very good at your sports. You sport people should not be so tiny. And he's like, Grandma, I do esports. I don't do regular field sports. And she's like, oh, esports. I don't know exactly what that is.
What? Bruh.
Should we just ignore it for now and then come back to it all surprised? All right, good.
That's not happening. That's not happening. You didn't see any.
Yeah. It'll be like, oh, what happens? Oh, God. It's crazy.
Okay, so Reaper's going to come across the map. Now, Showtime is walling off in the low ground immediately.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding me.
Oh, the Reaper.
Showtime. You know, we say we didn't see anything, but Showtime actually didn't see anything.
He saw nothing. And
he's not willing to jump into the main off that ramp because he doesn't want Showtime to accidentally.
Oh, it's coming in.
No.
It's going in. This is gonna be Widow Mines, right? Imagine if he gets like a armory behind this as well. It's Hellions. Oh, it's Hellions. Oh, this is disgusting.
A tech lab builds a siege tank, and on the other side of the map is building Marines. A medevac flies it in, and it's like, sucker, I'm sieging you from your own base. But the Hellions is probably a more safe play. It's more guaranteed damage. The real question is how many? What's that?
It's funny how, like, you sometimes see people proxy the starport so the Hellions arrive a lot earlier. And this is the one way that you can even get it even earlier, right? Just make the factory in their base and you cut out the middleman. You don't no longer need the medevac at all. You can just make the 3 Hellions here. I guess you don't have the reactor from the barracks, but maybe that's the next step. You make the barracks, then you fly in the barracks, make the reactor, and then you fly in the factory, switch them over, and then you...
Now, I'm curious. Okay, Showtime hasn't seen the starport, so he doesn't know that there isn't a factory in Clem's base. But okay, three Hellions are going in, factory's leaving, and hello, Spaghetti-O. It's a roasty toasty barbecue. But are you kidding me? You're joking? You're joking.
Only 3, yeah. I mean, it's shield battery helping out at Sun. The Stark is kind of blockading the Hellions there as well from going in all together, being able to then that way all target the same probes at once. Very clean response there from Showtime once again. I mean, he is the wall after all, and well, this wall's made of concrete, doesn't burn that easily.
Bruh, I would have lost 20 probes there. I gotta watch this replay over. How in the world, when there's a factory in your main, do you only lose 3 workers?
Like, his Stalker movement was so quick, man. He managed to block off one of those Hellions from just running on by. And I think that is a big deal because of this. Because then, basically, every single shot of those Hellions, they are so de-lined. They're not lined up together, which means you only get 1 probe at a time. Unless if all the probes are stacked up. And then the shield battery saves the other ones that got hit by the two shots from the other side, right?
Yeah. Well, so, and now this actually sucks for Clem, because this entire time his factory is not making anything. He's not getting tanks. He's not getting widow mines. He's getting diddly bop squat. It's just been floating across the map. So Clem's not going to be able to make an effective push out, because while this is happening, Showtime's getting Colossus. He's now harassing with Stalkers, and there's no siege tanks to zone these bad boys out, so they can just blink and dodge forever.
I was already trying to move on the low ground here, anticipating, oh, he's probably gonna jump out as soon as he sees some of my units, and then I'll just be ready for him. I'll just be ready on that low ground. But Showtime being able to anticipate somewhat of that movement already and jumping out a little bit earlier on, manages to get out of there. No problem. No problem for the German. And Clem, what are you doing? You're just moving across the map here with a lot of units. He has got combat shields almost finished and the +1 weapons, so they will both be available for when Clem comes in here with the fury of all the French people combined. Let's see. Oh, no, don't do it! Don't do it!
I would sack the Stalkers to snipe that Raven because the Colossus is going to be what saves you in this fight.
Yeah.
Here comes the Raven, ready for the interference matrix. There you go. Ooh, beautiful force fields. Yeah, no, Clem, you got to back off there, my man. Okay. Beautiful deflection. Perfect hold.
Yes, another interference matrix. I don't know. He's got some more medevacs on the way. He's going in for round number 2. Gets himself onto the high ground, perhaps. Makes this a bit easier. Oh, I suppose that third base choke point there may actually be a bit bigger than the one on the right side. That's if he... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Showtime. How do you know this? Oh, Clem still goes for it as well. Just drops right on top of the Stalkers. This man...
full yeets his way through. He's going to snipe the shield battery. The rest of the Protoss army has so far to go. Yeah, he lost 1 medevac, but that's 3 medevacs full of workers. 7 probes going down. Snipes the Colossus Den. And now he's just going to be able to pick off and use his way out of there because all this... Oh, no. He loses 1of the medevacs. Okay. And so then auto turret coming in here, killing a few more workers. So, I mean, now the worker count's even. Supplies are still even. I mean, Clem killed a lot of workers and sniped that... robotics bay, but he lost a lot in that Kozan.
How is it possible that, like, he goes for a proxy factory in the base of Showtime, he takes some losses from, like, Blink Stalker harassments, and then he just drops everything onto a big, like, he pretty much almost doom drops on top of a ginormous clump of Stalkers, and he makes it work. How does that, how?
It's the beautiful brain that Clem has, the biggest IQ, but now he has to have a bigger IQ to hold this attack. That is 3 Big Daddy Colossus. There is no Raven in sight. There are force fields zoning out this army. STV's going down, but on the opposite side of the map, 11 probes have gone down Kozan, and I think both the third and the natural. Because of Widowmine drops, there's even a Widowmine that hasn't done anything, but it looks like Clem might even lose the 3rd CC. Oh no, Showtime backs off. Okay. That was almost disastrous.
Yeah, Showtime is definitely making some headway here. You have to be careful, the Viking number is growing and those Colossi, their HP bar is shrinking. Especially with the Marauders and the Siege Tank there in the back as well, adding in that extra DPS. The Stalkers trying to just hold off for as long as possible. I think Clem may just barely be able to hold on here. Needs a bit more reinforcements, but this is looking good.
He retargeted onto that Warp Prism, which was really helpful. The Warp Prism microing back the hurt Colossus beautifully. Now these Widowmine drops just being super duper annoying. Clem now 11 supply ahead. And just ramping things up.
That's Clem for you, isn't it? It's just like, all right, well, things aren't looking all that great for Clem. Oh, hold up, he's doing this one thing, and okay, well, he's ahead again. Okay, well.
I mean, I think if Showtime had actually been able to snipe the 3rd CC completely, this would be a very different game for Showtime. He'd be in a phenomenal advantageous position. Yeah. Finally, the Widowmine's going to get cleaned up, but as that stands, they're now... Clem's on even bases. The 4th base is done for Showtime, but he hasn't really gotten... Oh, no, his saturation's pretty decent, so... And 4th base on the way for Clem, but I'd say things are pretty even at this point. Upgrades-wise, army-wise, and economy-wise.
Yeah, but I feel like Clem right now is just the Maru of EU, you know? He's like, when you're tied up with Clem, basically you're behind, right? It's like, sure, most of the Terrans here, it would be an equal fight, but with Clem, yeah, you're pretty much behind right now if it's tied up, you know? It's what it feels like, at least. But I do like Showtime's position. I do admit it feels very playable, you know.
Yeah. The Colossus are on a timer. Clem's been making 4 Vikings at a time. He's now going to be up to 8 Vikings. Ooh. So the disruptor transition's great, but I feel like Showtime, he's almost maxed out. He's actually really supply blocked right now and only has a single pylon in the way. Bruh, what are doing?
Making some more.
Finally. finally. He's getting a he's getting a DT shrine. I feel like Showtime needs to start doing something. Otherwise, he's just letting Clem build up, and any advantage Showtime built himself in that attack is just continuously slipping through his fingers.
Well, this is the conundrum, isn't it? Like Showtime versus Clem. Like, this is why I feel like Clem is just not a good matchup, perhaps, for Showtime. Okay, he's moving out of the map, but I mean, Clem is so good at dismantling the late game Protoss army with his micro. It is terrifying, and that is where Showtime likes to go, right? That is where his strengths lie, to get himself to the late game Protoss army. But I don't know if he's as good at dismantling Terran armies late game as Clem is at dismantling the Protoss armies.
Yeah, it's been tricky for him. So far we've seen Clem win every late game scenario, but here comes this big attack. The Colossus dropping fast, but so far I do still like this attack for Clem. The Warp Prism only just showing up though. Now a big Disruptor hit does get a good shot there.
All the Colossi are picked off. The Vikings also going down. They aren't that necessary anymore. It's just the Warp Prism really, which is that target that they could have helped out with here. And because they didn't, this may still become somewhat of a push here for Showtime, but without the Colossi, he's just banking all his hopes on trying to get a good shot with those Disruptors. And with Clem, how he's moving his army, it doesn't seem like that's going to be an easy thing to do.
No, sir. Now, this bio was getting pretty damaged. I wouldn't have minded seeing Showtime continue to chase it down, but that shows a lot of good discipline, being willing to just back off for now. DTs are on the... Okay. Oh, I like it. And I think we're backing off from each other. 2-2. Actually, Clem's upgrades, he only is like 4/7 of the way done with getting 2-2, and we're already at 13.5 minutes. What? Showtime ahead on upgrades. This is actually a really big deal. This is going to give Showtime an edge for a really long time in this game. Oh no!
Oh my god, it happens. Again, he got hit by a Disruptor shot, which got more than 1 unit. It's crazy. Clem's clearly out of practice. Washed
sloppy.
Up. Confirmed.
Yeah, no, he's retiring soon, guys.
It must
That's
be.
what's going to happen. Yeah, okay, so now
imagine that. Getting hit by 5 DTs at once as a Marine. Oh, jeez.
That is in case anyone wasn't sure if that Marine was dead, I can confirm he is like, this isn't the Princess Bride where it's like he's not completely dead, he's only mostly dead. Nah, that Marine's completely dead. Ooh. Dead Disruptor.
Nope.
He's also very dead.
Okay, Showtime. I'm not sure if I like him moving in here. It feels like it's only a portion of his army. Could it just be a distraction for so the harassment can come in from the right side? That could be the case. I mean, Disruptor's still very good at zoning away this army. Again, getting pretty good connections. Oh my god. Okay, that third one. Kind of whiffing there a little bit. An attack on the back flank of Showtime as well. Clem setting up a good little multi-pronged attack onto that force. Managed to lift up his base as well. He's losing a couple of those SCVs, but he stays afloat. He managed to take out quite a portion of Showtime's army. Is this where Clem suddenly comes across the field and starts raking in some next side kills as well?
So I think Clem's reputation actually helped him dodge a shot without him having to do anything, because that last shot, like you were saying, that whiffed, I think Showtime was expecting Clem to go for the split and the dodge, which would then have moved them still in the path of the disruptor shot. But then he didn't move, and then it whiffed, which is usually how my shots go, and then thus I lose and I'm in bad positions. But now we're going in a little bit of a base race situation. Clem ahead on supply a little bit. His upgrades are muy better. Well, actually just by 1, but Liberator range not done. Liberator's getting taken out. There is a base getting taken out for Showtime, and someone's dropped.
Okay, yeah, things is going quite bananas right now. Okay, the infantry for Clem, I mean, it's so small in supply right now that it's kind of hard to hit with disruptor shots. He is still coming in here into the main base, or the natural first, of course, here from Showtime. Those 2 disruptors, I thought they may be able to hold off this attack here. Maybe get a lucky strike and then turn this entire game into his favor immediately. But that was not meant to be. There's not a robo there in the main base, so could become quite a bit problematic here. Now for Showtime, his main base as well. Let's take a look at CLEM's base. He's not mining anymore. Has to lift everything up and just try to get out of there. CLEM, what is he doing?
Houston, we have liftoff. All right, Clem's just gonna go and start killing all the probes. He doesn't even seem to be concerned about Nexi. He's just like, if I can kill all the workers, everything's fine. But Clem's down to 1 worker. Where is that one? Where is he? Oh, he's over there. GG's, kill him. Okay. Well, Clem's just floating into the corner. But I think Showtime's ahead here. He's ahead in every conceivable way. Oh, and all the CCs are dead. And Clem doesn't have enough for any more CCs. Clem is on the clock.
He did depower the Stargate, so I mean, if he manages to clean up all the probes now, I saw there's 21 probes. Oh, there's a lot of probes here on there. Okay, that's a problem.
And
there's still take out. Oh, and he doesn't have scan. He only has 1 ghost left.
No. Oh, he tried to blink ahead, but I mean, Showtime can make more. Wait, did he kill the ghost? No, the ghost.
No,
there's still
there. No energy.
It's completely out of energy. Yeah.
Oh, there's still more DTs right now. There's 9 more DTs. Where are they coming in? They're coming in right now.
Okay, Showtime. Showtime's got this one, guys. If Showtime somehow throws this, I will be utterly shocked.
Just pick everything up, get out of there. Yeah. Okay, GG.
There we go. Showtime ties it up 2-2 in this best of 9 slugfest.
All right. Once again, tied up. This is it's kind of close, kind of really close right now.
It really is. Well, I have to go. I have to go get ready. But thank you, Kozan, for letting me join you for these 4 phenomenal games and for an even more enjoyable time casting with you.
Good, dude.
It has been a pleasure, sir.
We need to do it more often, man. Always a good time casting with you. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, good luck with all the groceries, man.
Thank you. Peace out, everyone.
See you later, buddy. All right, that was Canuck. A great guy overall. Very friendly fella. One of the friendliest fellas you'll ever meet. And always fun casting with him. Always a good time overall. Anyway, we're moving into the next game here. Submarine will be the next one. It's tied up. Oh, Showtime asking for a short break. Go for it. Go for it. No problem. No problem. All right, short break. That means we won't be having any games for a couple of minutes. That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about it, guys. We'll be back pretty soon. And as soon as we're back, of course, game number 5 is going to start. We're not even past the potential halfway mark here. The halfway mark, if we do go to game number 9, if we keep going like this, tit for tat, then halfway mark is going to be halfway this game. So who knows when that is exactly going to be, but we're approaching it overall. Or we've already passed the halfway mark here, right? Quite by well, halfway through the previous match. Interesting how that works, isn't it? Is that correct, what I'm saying right now? I think so. Oh well. Anyway. It's either 5 more games or it's either 3 more games. So yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. So yeah. Don't forget the Matcherino, guys. There's a Matcherino for this show match as well. Showtime and CLEM would be deeply appreciative of you if you were to fill in that code, help them out, get a bit of extra money, and yeah. As we are waiting for that, we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. CLEM and Showtime continuing onwards in a moment.
An army, and Zest is not gonna have much AoE back home. He doesn't have Disruptors, he doesn't have Colossi. He has a Templar Archives in the making, but he still has to deal with so much bio, so many SCVs right now. These Phoenixes, of course, are starting to catch some medivacs in the open. The charge lots are getting the counter attack you were talking about. But there's still a huge army over here. Tanks are not sieged up. That's a little bit of a mistake from Beyond. He needs to set up a little bit better. Here comes the first siege up. The Cyclones are starting to get stuff done. And with the shield battery comes the shield battery overcharged on top of it. These SCVs, Marines, Cyclones, everything that's happening right now are starting to take lives. 10 probes have fallen down against the 8 SCVs back home. These allies are charging on top of these SCVs. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are getting everything lifted up. Zess getting a huge surround. Is it gonna be enough? Marines macroing their best.
We interrupt these commercials for something very important. Apparently we can start the show a little bit earlier. Doesn't happen with your broadcast on TV, does it? Your regular cable networks won't do something like that. No sir, no sir. I think at least they wouldn't do that. Anyway, regardless, we're moving on forwards. Showtime and CLEM coming up. Coming up, game number 5. Assigning little petite, la petite map. It is going to be a submarine. Into the bottom right side, we have ourselves a red Protoss player. He is fighting for Team Big. He is Showtime. Is a SHOWTIME. And in the top left side of the map, we have ourselves a blue Terran player. He is fighting for Team Liquid. He is a CLEM. Right. Gotta love the French and the German accents, right? And then when you go in between, suddenly you have like the Dutch accent, which would be like, well, let's talk about the players here. The players are not really trying to do too much. It will be quite difficult for me to keep up a Dutch accent, but it is something like this. Try to not do it too much, otherwise it will make your ears bleed. I'm not even sure if I can do a full, straight up, very flat Dutch accent anymore. It's awkward. It's just like an entirely different language to me, in a sense. It's weird. Like just an accent, which apparently I skipped somehow, some way. I guess I can kind of know about it a little bit, right? I can do it a little. Too little. But yeah, we won't bother you with it anymore. Anyway, proxy Stargate here for Showtime, as we do have CLEM going for a Marauder play. Now, Marauders, as far as I'm aware, not the greatest units against anything coming from the sky. But maybe CLEM is going to switch over the barracks with the factory here and make himself a quick Cyclone. That would help him out quite a bit, actually. But then again, why would you make a Marauder without getting Concussive Shell? Alright, apparently that is exactly what he's doing. Interesting. Oh, Void Ray. Void Ray play from Showtime. He's going for it, guys. He is absolutely committed now. He's going to put down some shield batteries as well. Make life very difficult for CLEM here. Now, an interesting take that we need to point out, of course, is Showtime is doing this from the third base location that is vertically placed, right? And instead of the triangular. Now, the triangular place did get scouted there by CLEM. So that's a bit difficult right now for him because he thought like, alright, looks like I'm fine. He did make a bunker already, so already getting a whiff of something being off right now. He managed to get a good scout off with his other units here. I think he saw that there was a pylon missing, so maybe that is the reason why. Overall, some good insights here by the Frenchman. He's got to be careful not to lose those Marines here, of course. Perhaps another bunker right here wouldn't hurt him too much. There's the Cyclone as well. The Cyclone gets a look onto the Void Ray. That's a good start right now. Yeah, that bunker is not meant to stay alive anymore. Void Rays do so much damage against those buildings. See, another lock on right there. Not to the low HP Void Ray, so a bit unfortunate. Let's see how CLEM will be able to do this right now. It's a difficult thing to hold, that is for certain. It is just a very, very strange, dangerous place to be at as a Terran player. It's a tightrope you're walking, and maybe you're going to be able to walk a tightrope for like 30 seconds, but can you realistically be asked to walk on a tightrope, well, for more than 5 minutes? That is the question here, of course. Oh, the factory goes down! No more cyclones here going to be created. It comes down to the Vikings, and it comes down to the Marines. We're not going to get the cyclone upgrade either, which normally is a very big deal at holding this, right? Normally one of the main things you need to do in order to get this into your favor. The Phoenix almost being able to punish one of those cyclones right there, up to the extreme. All the infrastructure for CLEM has gone down right now. That one bunker still stands between him and utter devastation. Another barracks, doesn't want to lose that. Good number of Vikings now coming into play. Alright, CLEM, he's struggling. He is definitely struggling. Trying to just micro in between his SCVs right there, backwards with that Cyclone. There's so many shield batteries right now. Even a gateway here helping out as well. Getting some gateway units onto the ground. Showtime's doing a lot of great stuff right now. It's not the play that we expect from him, but it's a great way to perhaps get out a sneaky victory here. Will work. Still on the knife's edge. Still walking that rope here for CLEM. CLEM, he got himself oh yeah, he got himself the Void Ray and a Phoenix. Yet he did lose a Viking and a Cyclone as well, right? Actually losing 2 Cyclones, no Vikings, my bad. It's an awkward position. Okay, now he loses the Viking. 2 tech labs on the way, that's a surprise. I was not anticipating tech labs onto the barracks right there. Perhaps he's anticipating more of a Stalker transition, and that's actually what we are seeing here. So it seems like it should be able to work out here for CLEM. Gets that Marauder into the bunker as well. There's a Showtime. Just trying his best to kind of stay on top of things for now. For the time being. Stop the entire Void Ray production for this moment as well. Getting more shield batteries on the high ground. That's going to feel quite intimidating here for CLEM. Is he going to try to commit here before those shield batteries are finished up? He may have to, guys. He may have to. He may not have a choice. Because as soon as those shield batteries finish up, this has just become a monstrous situation. How are you supposed to deal with this at that point anymore? This command center may as very well go down as well, actually. Getting dangerously low. Being targeting the SCVs, repairing it as well. Good amount of Marauders, though. Are the Marauders enough to get rid of all these Stalkers? With this amount of healing behind them as well. Another shield battery is finishing up as we're speaking. Need to see some good targeting here from CLEM. The Stalkers are moving down right now. Has CLEM done it? Has he managed to push this backwards all the way? It looks like he's doing a really good job, even with the overall healing from the shield batteries. It does not appear to be enough. And CLEM, he manages to get rid of all the Stalkers. Is this it? Is this actually CLEM being able to push this backwards? GG is called. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, man, who saw that coming? Jeez Louise. CLEM hanging on just barely, continuously. Managing to keep his units just afloat, a little bit alive, and very cool stuff. Very cool stuff there for our little Frenchman. Showtime, I mean, he almost made it work. I feel like there were some opportunities there for him to take it. He went away from the Void Race, which is also interesting. He was making some good calls, right? Let's delve into that decision making a little bit deeper. So going for the Phoenix, which is a really big deal, actually. You need to get that Phoenix because that allows you to pick up the Cyclones. And then the Void Rays can target down the Cyclones, taking away the best overall asset that you have with the Cyclone, which is their mobility. Now, afterwards, after he took out the factory, of course, there's not going to be any cyclones, so he stopped making Phoenix. And Clem started banking onto the Vikings. The Vikings, they can kite away against the Void Race. They don't do all that great in a straight-up fight, but, of course, with some good micro, they may be able to take that fight continuously. So Showtime went into a more gateway force, went into the Stalkers, so he could actually get rid of those Vikings in the sky. And then Clem puts 2 tech labs on his barracks, just like that. When he needs every little bit of production that he can get his hands onto, he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to make Marines against Stalkers. I'm just going to bank it all that I'm going to be able to hold it off for long enough that these 2 barracks get themselves 2 tech labs. And then also produce 2 Marauders as well. Hats off to him. Hats off to him. Very, very cool stuff. Alright, just fell behind there. Just slightly. Some weird decision making. Well, not weird actually. Some brilliant overall decision making. But bringing them into a very awkward place that you don't really see all too often. Like, normally people either stay on the Void Race or they stay on the Vikings and the Cyclones, and then maybe we get some Phoenixes to try and pick up the Cyclones, and then that's where it falls apart. But we went 2 layers deeper there. We went 2 layers deeper than most of the other players will be able to get themselves. Anyway, in the bottom right side, the Red Terror, or the Red Terror, the Red Protoss. It's hard to tell them apart at this point. He is the German, playing for Team Big. He's Showtime. In the top left side, we got a Red Terran player. He's in the blue. He's fighting for Team Liquid, the horsey team. He is Clem. The decapitated horse players. If I was in charge of Team Liquid, I would have called them the Team Decapitated Horse Head. I think that would really steal the show. Get a lot of investors and sponsors interested. It's like the same thing with beer, right? I think you can probably do something similar for esports because the overall targeted audience is kind of similar in a way, right? The internet people that just like funny things. So if you call your team like a very weird name, maybe a bit of a I don't know. There's some weird beer names out there, right? Like Man Piss or something like that, right? What if you call your team Team Man Piss? I think you would be able to get some fans overall. Just based because they're like, haha, that's a funny name. And then, you know what I mean. Team Decapitated Horsehead. Exactly, I think so as well. I know Team Liquid, like, it's a staple and it's a cool name. It's really cool, but is it hip with the kids? I don't know. Team Decapitated Horsehead, though. I mean, that's when you get them. I already have the logo for it as well, so. Alright, the bounce of joy right there. The probes never get to have a break, but in those short few seconds of bounciness, they experience the best thing they've ever had. A little bit of a break, and just the sheer joy of being able to bounce around as if it was a bouncy house. What are these players doing? We're getting ourselves a 3 CC build from Clem as he's going to get pressured by the Oracle momentarily. Do we already have some stuff available? There's a Cyclone here. Should be coming in immediately to hold this off. I think this Oracle may be going down as well. Some Marines, they do not manage to intercept in time. So the Oracle does stay alive. Only gets a single SCV kill as well. I thought it would get 2, but apparently that second SCV in time being pulled away right there. Great stuff, great stuff. Third base for Showtime. Not as early on. Although CLEM, of course, still has to make it an orbital. Still has to fly it over. So, kind of gonna end up around the same time. But that is still a benefit for CLEM. Still a bit of a lead right there, I would say. Even with losing that one SCV. Oracle comes in for round 2. Still sees that Cyclone is there. Just tagging the production facilities. I think he just kind of wants to see what's being made right now. He's going to be able to see the tech lab coming onto the factory here as well. We got... Is he going to... Okay, no, never mind. Thought he was going to put another barracks on another tech lab. That would be crazy. Just straight up triple barracks tech lab here. I mean, double barracks tech lab, already quite aggressive play here from CLEM, but triple? That would be nuts. That would be too much. No, he's just going to stick to the 2, and I would anticipate him moving out not too far into the distant future. As soon as those upgrades kind of finish up, together with the combat shield here, he should be able to feel fairly comfortable to try and make a move. As long as he manages to kind of zone away those stalkers here as well. Blink has just completed. There's no way up onto the high ground though. The Oracle a bit out of position to make that happen. Does come in at the last seconds. Oh, just barely gets shot down as well. There go those stalkers. Siege tank in the main base also though is going to be able to force them a bit backwards. Is CLEM going to be able to set up somewhat of a surround here? The recall's going to shut it down. Nothing much to be killed off there for CLEM. 2 medevacs. Still no 2 medevacs on the way. Could be that he's just got a bit flustered by the blink stalkers right there. Which means that Stimpack is definitely quite costly. Not just going to be able to sit around, wait a little bit, and then go for it. I like this attack timing from CLEM here. He's on 60 supply. The upgrades looking rather good. And the medevac should be able to get across the field as well before anything really starts trading off against one another. Not a stim here, just a slight one. CLEM knows that he's got to be careful. Scan's going to be able to catch that status trap right here. Sets it off with a single marine. Good stuff overall. Well, those medevacs, they are coming in, right? Okay, they're flying in right now. We have another status trap. No, we don't. That scan verifies that that is the case here. The siege tanks need to get as close as possible. There's no zealot charge just quite yet, so they are melting very quickly without doing much of anything. Siege tanks coming a bit closer. Ooh, gonna go for a bit of a spread out siege tank positioning here. Interesting. So instead of pushing forwards, he pushes sideways, which makes it more difficult for this Protoss army overall to kind of move around, I suppose. And if he does push in through the middle, oh my god. Alright, well, CLEM apparently tired of his title of certified anti-disruptor player here. This is going to allow that to take another shot, and actually that cost him quite a couple of other units as well, because now the Zealots don't have that much Marines here to shoot them down. Disruptor again getting a couple of units right there. CLEM is trying to set up shop on the left side. More difficult location to engage here for the Disruptor shots and the Zealots, of course. Which is the majority of the army of Showtime. And tries to get rid of that Immortal, but immediately being met by those Zealots right here. Sieging up. Stark is getting rid of the other siege tank as well. I think things are looking really good here for Showtime. CLEM has to move backwards again. He still has a good army, or well, a good worker supply, but overall, Showtime here, gotta say, like the cut of his jib in this one here. Definitely making some headway with the defenses. Has that 4th base on the way. He's got disruptors. He got a good amount of zealots as well. And incorporating the Colossi also. Clem. Oh, is this a bit of a desperation play? Comes in with 5 medevacs filled up to the brim with all sorts of Terran goodies. Gonna bring some Terran joy across here into the Protoss chimney. Showtime already repositioning in towards the middle place, actually, of these bases, so wasn't too far removed. Great positioning for CLEM overall between all sorts of structures and such, but in the end, he's just gonna get sniped down by the Stalkers here. Getting punished rather heavily. Moving in on the right side now as well. Gonna try that multi-pronged aggression. Wait, did he lose all those medeffects here? What the hell happened? I thought just one was gonna get shot down, but it looks like a lot more getting slain right there in that attack. And now Clem with only 70 army supply versus almost, well, it's starting to get close to his double. It's not really there just entirely, but still. Clem trying to hold off for a little bit longer here. We do have another great revelation now on top of the Terran army. The siege tank's in a good position, but there are 4 Colossi here as well with a ton of those zealots. The siege tanks being parked a little bit further backwards. Gonna take them a while to re-siege up here. The Marines and the Marauders have to just kite backwards for quite a way to come. I like the siege tanks near the planetary fortress. That seems like it's a very good call overall. But Showtime is just going to ignore them. Moves straight into the natural. And it's not even going to be bothered too much by any sort of resistance here. It's like swatting away a mosquito here. It feels like GG is called. Showtime manages to tie up the series again. And we're going into game number 7 with once more a tied up series here. These guys are really well matched against one another. Showtime showing every single one of us that we should not be overlooking the EU Protoss. It's not just Terrans and Zergs. We got a pretty darn great Protoss here as well, so showcasing that right now. It may not be DreamHack, unfortunately for him, but I doubt that Clem is taking this less seriously, right? He still wants to win this. He's still a very competitive player. He's still going to try his hardest here. Maybe he has less adrenaline overall now that he did manage to become a DreamHack champion. Who knows? Alright. The sweet sound of the countdown. Getting ourselves another match here. Game number 7. Game number 7. Light Shade. This map actually now not being chosen by anyone. It's kind of just like the final map that was remaining in the entire map pool. So, yeah. Alright. Alright. Best of 9. Best of 9. 3-3. Here we go. Can you believe it? I mean, fellas. Ladies and fellas. Fellas and fellettes. We got ourselves a really good series here on our hands. We got a Red Protoss from Germany, from Team Big, that has been able to continuously re-tie up this series. He's losing a game, and he reclaims the game. He lost the game, reclaims it immediately. 3 times in a row here. Just needs to get 2 victories in a row, and that should put him into a marvelous position. Will he be able to start doing this right here, right now? He's the Red Protoss. I've already said everything. He is Showtime. Team Big, German, Red Protoss, yada yada. Anyway, his opponent, it's the exact opposite. It's the exact polar opposite right here. He is Terran. He's not red, he's blue. He's not German, he's France. He is not Team Big, he is Team Liquid. He is CLEM. Sorry, excuse me. Bit of a burp there for some reason, as there was. I guess that fits kind of with the French kind of spirit, right? A little bit of a I've eaten my food too quickly kind of burp. Alright. It's kind of like the oh, I just oh shoot. What's that guy's name again? Joseph Joffrey? Joseph Joffre? Is that his name? Joseph Joffre. Is that him? Let me see. World War I French general. What was going on there? What was his name? Wasn't it Joseph Joffre? Joseph Joffre. It's Joseph Joffre versus Otto von Bismarck here. That's what we're watching. Could it be? Could it be turning into the German favorite this time around? Who knows? Who knows? Guess Otto von Bismarck not really all that involved with the wars. He was just kind of more so involved with ensuring that they had really good political friends overall. It's kind of funny how there's like still entire studies going on about the Bismarckian, how do you call it? The Bismarckian political way. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. At least it goes way above my pay grade, that's for sure. And still people struggle with understanding it. It's like still things that nobody really understands, like how he's really doing certain things. Oh, well, there goes the Reaper. But anyway, fun stuff, fun historical stuff. I don't know if I really explained anything there. I just kind of bumbled about two names and I said they were really interesting people from the past. Alright, going into this game here. Phoenix opening versus a Cyclone and a Viking opening here from CLEM. Is he going to try to go for another attack right now? I mean, he does have that 1-1 available, or the 1-1-1. Instead goes for the third base straight afterwards. So it's not entirely super quick, but still relatively quick, right? Still in front of the production queue of the Nexus right now. Although, again, taking into consideration the flying and the orbital creation, is still pretty good timing here for Showtime. Should be ahead with his Bismarckian timings right there. Oh, poor Marines not finding the best of fortune there. The siege tank, my dear lord, that is fearless, isn't it? Just being like, you know what? Sure, those Marines got picked off, but I'm a siege tank. I should be okay. Don't worry about me. Trying to get a couple of these bunkers up and rolling as well, but it does definitely seem like it's just too much Showtime right now available. Picking up the siege tank once more. And this is kind of a repeat of what we saw one of the games. Well, which map was it again? I think it was Gigantha, where Showtime was going for the Phoenix. CLEM tried to go for an attack. But this time around, Showtime keeping those Phoenix a lot closer by to his defending force. And just kind of picking everything up and making that really, really interesting. They may be really interesting people of the past, but you are a really interesting person of the present, Ghost. And thank you. Oh, thank you. I mean, I wish I had a race car driver just driving me around. Is this 3-2? Liquipedia says it's 3-3. Yeah, it's 3-3. What do you mean? It's I've put it on 3-3. Bitterwood, don't freak me out here, buddy. Come on. Right, Siege Tank's gonna have to target the Immortals. Not the greatest targets for them to try and hit here. The shielding has worn off though. Alright. Siege tanks. Sieging up. Absolutely everywhere. SCV starting to mine off that third base. Let's take a look at the income grab. Definitely something that is peeking into the red right there. Unit lost. Let's see. Oh, that's not how that works. There we go. Yeah. Clear favoritism there, leading towards Showtime. Clem's gonna have to figure out a different way of approaching this. I mean, getting himself into the late game isn't that horrendous. What is a bit worrisome, though, is, of course, this income advantage. It does appear like Showtime managed to get himself in a good position overall with the work accounts here. Now, Clem, again, he's really good at making those SCVs. Let's see if he somehow squeezes out more of them once more than you would kind of anticipate out of a Terran. Although, he's, okay, he stopped producing them for a little while there. He's starting them up again. He's coming out again, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to start to move out again here. If all those siege tanks get in a good position, maybe he's going to be able to do something here. Especially if the Phoenix are still on the bottom side. But, Clem already going to get spotted out there by that Zealot. The Zealot moving away as quickly as possible. Does Showtime realize that this attack is coming in from the bottom? I mean, if he doesn't, that scan may very well reveal just that. Clem scanning a little bit further ahead, sees the army of his opponents. Realizing that it's not a place he wants to take a fight. Moves back around, goes to his own turf. The top right felt like the way to go, perhaps, but I guess for Showtime that is a logical place as well, right, for an attack. So he's going to try his best to keep that safe. Scanning to see if he got spotted by a observer here. Let's see if he manages to avoid any type of vision. No, he won't. That Phoenix is just right there. My dear lord, everything is going to hell here, and a basket for Clem. Just getting spotted every step along the way. Great scouting from Showtime, of course. Let's not pretend that he had nothing to do with it. Alright, trying to get rid of as many SCVs here as possible. Siege tanks slowly leapfrogging forwards, trying to get themselves in a position to hold off any type of aggression against these small, tiny SCVs. There's a big attack coming in from Clem as well, though. Those Marauders and Marines, they are out for blood, and they should be able to get some good damage, in fact. Warp Prism into the main base of himself as well. There was a recall. What a Colossi suddenly in the same location here. Not that many Stalkers, though, in order to take out those medevacs. As Clem is trying his best to make sure his main base is secured again. He needs to get those medevacs boosted out. We'll be able to do so. And that was an okay moment there for Clem. He got, how many probes? He got one probe. That's all he got. I guess he got the Nexus. Just no probes whatsoever. Interesting. Interesting. That's probably a good thing, right? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if the income graph here now goes towards the favor of Clem. Showtime, is he going to feel pressured as well, perhaps, to make something happen across the field? Because, sure, he managed to get 9 SCVs instead of just 1 probe, but he never managed to clean up a base. Is this the moment when he tries to make this happen? It could be. Those EMPs are going to be absolutely crucial. Need to hit those Zealots before they spread out too much. Or the Archons, of course, as well. That's some great force fields there by the Protoss. Forcing all those bio units right on top of one another. And in we go. The final fight here, perhaps for Light Shades. Will Clem crumble? Or will Showtime slay his opponent right here? Careful, careful. Showtime, he's starting to take some punishment. Not that much AoE damage remains. Clem still stands. And Showtime moves backwards a little bit here. Tries to reposition, perhaps going for a different target. Yes, if he's on the top side, not a bad choice. Comes into the potential fourth base. Oh, Disruptors here, completely out of position. Not part of the same hotkey group. Perhaps Showtime forgetting that he actually made a secondary group right there. We'll send in a couple of those Disruptors. Definitely not meaning to lose those, of course. Again, coming in this base could very well go down now. And that is perhaps all that Showtime needs to do. Oh, the base lives. The base actually lives. It survives. How does it? I don't know. Just barely, though. That is the slimmest survival. Oh, my God. Clem. Clem. Oh, that was the biggest disruptor shot I've ever seen him face tank right there. Jeez Louise. Just when you think it was going good. Just when you think he's out. Showtime pulls him back in. Alright, Siege Chain goes down as well. The base again under a lot of heavy pressure here. Yeah, Clem taps out. GG is called. Showtime takes game number 7. And this is the first point in this series. I do believe that he has taken the lead. What a lead as well, and a very important one. It's going to put him onto match points. Match points. Now, the downside here, of course, being that all the maps have been played. All the maps have been reopened up. So, free map choice here for Clem. Whichever map he wants to play onto is going to be the next map right here. So, a little bit of an advantage for him to tie it up here. But then as well, if he does manage to tie it up, then that same advantage goes towards Showtime, which makes this such a big advantage for Showtime, getting the upper hand in the final moments when in that game number 7. Gaining the lead in a tied-up situation, that is super important in a best-of-9 with this type of map-picking scenario. What we're doing is loser picks, so, I mean, overall, who wouldn't want to have just 3 pickings out of whichever map you can in the ace match, right? Except for one map, which is your opponent's favorite map anyway to play on, so, yeah. Sure. It's a good way to put it, Bitterwood. It's an advantage for Clem. The advantage for Clem is actually the advantage for Showtime. Well, I would say there's an advantage for Clem to tie up the series in this map in particular. But then, I mean, that's going to give Showtime the bigger advantage, right? Ooh. Oh, sacre bleu! Oh. Qu'est-ce que c'est? In the bottom right side, they blue Protoss fighting for Team Big. He is Showtime. And the top left side, a red Terran player fighting for Team Liquid. He is Clemaruni. Clemarino. The Clemmy man himself. It's probably not the coolest nickname. The Clemmy man. The Clem man. Clement. Alright. I mean, Showtime comes in here with the scout, of course. Sees that there's something missing. That one thing being, of course, that that barracks is going to check behind the natural minerals as well. Very smart choice Sometimes Terrans do like to just hide their barracks there, try to cause an overreaction from their Protoss opponents. But right now, it's, well, it's a good bet. He is making that Zealot, which already is a bit of an overreaction here against the single barracks proxied Reaper. You do still just you're gonna be okay with making the Adept or the Stalker. You're not gonna gain too much. But I guess it helps out against the bunker placements right here. I think... Okay, yeah, I guess you can just target on the Zealots. I was thinking to myself, if you send the Reaper towards the main base, I suppose you still want the Zealot then to target down the SCV, right? So in this situation, this is where you want to send the Reaper into the main base, so that you kind of force that Stalker in a position like, alright, do I chase the Reaper and make sure I don't lose any mining time or any probes, or do I ensure that the barracks or the bunker is not going to get created here? So this is a really good hold here for Showtime. Like a really good hold, actually. Scary one. Clem, he didn't invest too much though, right? So it's not the worst. Interesting fights here being taken by Clem. Nice Reaper nades. Oh, still losing that other Reaper there on the top right side. Thought that was going to get away here. Trying to body block with that Hellion as well. My dear Lord, Clem is pulling all the levers, pressing all the buttons, moving his mouse recklessly across that mouse pad, trying to do all the micro he can, but Showtime still gonna gain the upper hand right there with his unit movements and target fire. Very cool stuff. Clem, double barracks behind with a third barracks, of course, flying back across the map. He's gonna go for Banshees here together with a Cyclone. The Banshee might be okay here. Robo is already on the way. I guess we're not getting Cloak anyhow, so not necessary for Showtime to have that Observer, but still a good thing, right? Contingency is a key feature of StarCraft 2. When life gives you Clems, you make Clemonade. Man, Clemonade. I think Clemonade would just be... Oh, that would be disgusting, wouldn't it? I think that's a very small market for that. But then again, apparently there's a pretty large market for Clems, so... Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's just me being nitpicky. Showtime making Clemonade today. I mean, it definitely feels that way, but Clem not out of this one just quite yet, guys. Still has a good chance of making it through. Just needs 2 victories in a row, and if anyone can do anything like that, it's going to be Clem. Remember the last time they met, Clem went 3-0 in a best of 5 here and took the victory off of Showtime. Now he only needs to win 2 in a row, so it definitely is doable, but it's no dream hack, so maybe the superpowers for Clem here getting warped a little bit. Maybe he celebrated too much. Okay, one probe dies because of the double Banshee here. Not really what you're looking for. More Stalkers coming in. Nice scan there on top of a Observer. Does manage to get rid of that. The Cyclone also getting picked off though. There's Clem. Oh, Clem, alright. Banking it all on an attack right here, right now. Banshee's coming in from behind as well. That is going to be able to maybe target down some of those Stalkers before they get all the way back home. There's a single Colossus out on the field. Shield battery not available at that third base. Is Showtime actually going to commit to holding the third base? I think that would be a mistake. He doesn't have to with the SCVs being pulled here. All he has to do is hold this attack, and that third base is not a necessary thing to hold at all whatsoever. The natural base just might as well. There are more shield batteries available there. He has the Nexus available. Let's see if he has shield battery overcharge. Not quite just yet. 3 Banshees. That's still a lot of firepower with those siege tanks. And it's still a pretty good amount of buffer force as well. The repair is ever so pleasant for the Clemens. Let's see. Good targeting onto those shield batteries. Look at how quickly it dies against the target fire of those Banshees and the siege tanks right now. Clem is coming in. Is this holdable here for Showtime? The shield battery overcharge is making some headway, but the target fire from everything available for Clem is quite powerful as well. It looks like Showtime has done it. He will be able to hold on here. Is this actually Showtime being able to go 5-3 versus Clem? It looks like that is exactly it. No GG. Oh my dear lord. Showtime does it. What a man. What a show.